And he would use that ball with the fingers outlined to get him back where they needed to be and get the cutter back on track.
The thing that you can't outline is the pressure. The pressure in your fingers of what pressure you use. And the thing that wavered the most from year to year that I had to find is not my index finger and my middle finger placement on the ball, but my thumb underneath the ball. Where's the thumb? You know, how far up the side, how far on the other side of the equator of the baseball. And that's very important for the cut fastball and for also the sinker.
Line drive center field, but right at Marte. Peterson is out number 2. Let's go to Alana.
Well, Joe, we have the addition of Kike's mustache during this period. We also have an addition to his family, and Kike apparently is pregnant. And his wife, Mariana, is very, very excited about this. Kike tweeting earlier, "It works, Bebe Hernandez Vicente coming soon." Congratulations to both Kike and Mariana. They're having a girl. So the theme of babies in this Dodger family continues, guys.
The due date, January 8th, is Mariana's birthday.
Wow.
They either need to have it before or after. You don't want to have to share that, Mom.
You know, we all know. We all know about Kike's sense of humor. But you got to really have one to be married to this guy. Mariana. God bless you.
2-1. I think we've all thought that many times and thinking about those two.
Yeah.
It's funny seeing that picture, though. My 4-year-old daughter the other day.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah.
You had to give her the listen to the birds and the bees and said, "Is he pregnant?"
I'm a girl like Mommy.
Yeah.
Blake's a boy like you. I was in Mommy, and Blake came out of you. Well, okay. Eat your Cheerios. 3-2.
We'll cover that later.
Yeah, exactly. Dodgers 6, Diamondbacks 1 here in the bottom of the 4th inning. On a 3-2, Hernandez watches ball 4. 4th Dodger walk tonight. Keeps his 4th inning alive for Barnes. Will Smith will start tomorrow night's game against Arizona. And, you know, Barnes only had 8 plate appearances over the final 2 months of last season. Smith took that job. Barnes went to AAA for a period of time. But it figures to be closer to a timeshare, at least to begin this season.
You know, juggling the catching duties and having both catchers worry about, did my last bad game get me out of the lineup? But to actually confront it, as Dave Roberts has and kind of said, it's kind of going to be a timeshare, guys. They're not going to have that mental grind of, where am I in the manager's eyes? That they can both kind of say, all right, we're going to kind of split this, and we can root for each other, pull for each other, and we can be part of the pitching staff as far as running the staff, and we don't have to worry about a bad night. All of a sudden, you're going to be left on the sidelines.
And I think Austin would be the first to tell you that he has a tendency to do that, to really grind on it to the point where it's a detriment.
Mm-hmm.
And he'd tell you that he's at his best when he's free and easy. And he's an exceptional athlete. Twitchy. Talk about with him. He's at his best when he lets that play.
On our podcast, when we asked the players who would win a cage match, he was right in there.
He's usually the answer.
I mean, some people thought Baez because of strength, but never thought he could get angry enough to win a cage match among his teammates.
But if he did look out, they say.
Yeah. But pound for pound, with passion, Austin Barnes rose to the top as far as the votes from his teammates.
Joe Kelly got a few.
Yeah.
Well, Joe Kelly's won a fight on a baseball diamond before. That's Tyler Austin of the Yankees when Joe was with Boston.
Well, Dave Roberts has always said that competition is good, and there's always been competition for at-bats on this Dodger team with the versatility and the strength of the talent. But showing his dexterity as a manager to know how to relieve some pressure from the young Will Smith and the battle of an Austin Barnes that needs to kind of decompress on some nights. So it's really a good stance for both of those catchers.
I always worry on these all. So many small bones.
It sounded like bat, so it definitely got boned. Let's take a listen. I wouldn't be surprised if the training staff wants him to come out and just get ice on it now. So in 3-4 days, there's not an issue.
So walk to the 8-hitter, and then the 9-hitter gets hit. So Betts comes up with 2 on and 2 out.
If there's a hand on a catcher that gets beaten up, it's the left hand that you're catching all the pitches with. They wear guards inside their catcher's mitt so their thumb doesn't get pulled back. They wear tape on the center of their hand sometimes for the sting of the ball. They catch a lot of balls awkwardly sometimes when they move slightly differently than predicted. It is a hand that gets a workout.
1-1 on Betts. Walked and scored in the first. Singled and scored in the third. Yeah, a 25 pitch first inning for Widener that was ended because of the pitch limit, not because of the 3 outs. Then he had 2 really good innings. But this is another 25 pitch inning for him. A 1-1, and Mookie takes ball 2.
This will probably be his last hitter if they change sides again to protect the young fella. No action in the Diamondback bullpen, so they're trying to extend him. Looks like maybe even to 100 pitches.
If he's going to make the opening day roster, they figure that it will be as a long reliever, but probably a long shot at this point to make it. Betts drives this ball to center field on the screws, but Marte runs it down. Nice play by Starling Marte in center to save at least 1 run. It's 6-1 after 4.
longtime civil rights icon John Lewis, who passed away at the age of 80 on Friday. Of course, a longtime civil rights activist, March on Washington in 1963 with his famous speech alongside Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Again, the country honoring a man that has a legend and legacy of over the course of his entire life, fighting for those in social injustice, guys.
All right, Alana. We welcome it back inside Dodger Stadium onto the 5th inning in a 6-1 game.
Adam Kolarek is warming in the Dodger bullpen, so maybe Mitch White will make it through this inning, or they're just trying to extend him where he faces a hitter. We've seen this in intra-squad games where the starting pitcher or someone they're trying to extend goes out as their warm-up and then faces maybe one batter, and then they bring in the reliever. We'll see what Dave Roberts' plan is.
And we welcome you back inside, Joe and Oral. And sure has been fun to be back in here and watching real baseball, hadn't it?
Yep, real baseball to the point where the Dodgers have scored 7 runs in 6 innings, but only gotten 5 innings of outs.
Yeah, that's true. As real as that. As real as that can be.
But it's been nice to see Mitchell White. Nice to be back here at Dodger Stadium. And I'll tell you what, this is going to be a good atmosphere. It's an adjustment, but it's going to be fun to have baseball back.
You know, a few things I think can help overcome the lack of atmosphere. Doing everything they can with the crowd noise. And sure, the crowd noise is weird, but I think it's less weird than it being completely silent. You've got Dieter here playing the organ. You've got Todd Lights. You've got DJ Severe. And so all those elements that you're used to as Victor Gonzalez comes in. And then I think the whole idea that it's 60 games and there's triple the amount of urgency in each one of those games can help overcome some of the lack of vibe too. One ball, no strikes on Starling Marte.
Yeah, we quickly jump into some of the most exciting storylines of a baseball season. You have a hot month as a player, you are an MVP candidate.
There are going to be some interesting names in those MVP races, Cy Young races, leaderboards at the end of the year.
Reliever of the year.
Ugly. Half-hearted swing and a miss there, 1-2. Victor Gonzalez a year ago in the minors made a lot of people look bad. Somebody who has exploded onto the Dodgers' radar. Grounded to third. Edwin Rios has replaced Justin Turner over there, and he throws Marte out. Much improved defensively at third is Rios.
Right there, what I liked about that play is he is a big man, but he really shortened his stride as he attacked that ball. So he didn't get tangled in his legs. He kept his athleticism throughout that play. It was very well done.
Here's Escobar with one away in the 7th. Switch hitter batting from the right side for the first time tonight. Here comes Gonzalez. There's strike one, and here's Alana.
Guys, considering the roster is going to be 30 to start the season, and there is an addition of the DH this year in the National League, Edwin Rios has a much better chance of breaking camp with the Dodgers. That, according to manager Dave Roberts. He said every day he continues to get better and certainly gives you a quality AB off the bench. You never know with those expanded rosters, the improvement that he's made, obviously what he does at the plate, but the improvement he's made defensively, as you two were just talking about. He has a good shot at breaking camp with the club.
Dodgers drafted him as a first baseman. He played all over the place in college at FIU in Florida, mostly in the middle infield. So it's not like this guy has never been able to field. They drafted him as a first baseman. He told them he wanted to play third and then set out to do everything that he could to prove he could do that at a high level. Other than 2 on Escobar. Fly ball to center field. Bellinger settles under it, and 2 gone. He's had a really good coach in the off seasons. A guy named Barry Larkin, who he's worked with at a facility near his home in Orlando. He's learned a lot from him.
There are competitors, and then there are guys you love playing against, and Barry Larkin was one of those guys.
Yeah.
Just a gentleman and a competitor, tough as nails, but still a gentleman. Miss playing against Barry.
That's a strike on Peralta. Edwin, as a freshman at FIU, is an All-American shortstop. Second team freshman All-American behind Alex Bregman, who's at LSU. mostly third coming up. Edwin, of course, got an opportunity with the big club last year in 28 games. And, you know, it's funny. It was a limited sample, but you look and see what he did over those 28 games. It was really impressive. He had an OPS above 1,000. 4 home runs, including the longest home run by any Dodger last year. They set a record for the most home runs in a season. Nobody hit one farther than that man. They've been tracking those things for about 5 years now. It was the second longest hit by a Dodger in that time. Jock Peterson has a longer one. Gonzalez looking for 1-2-3-7. He's got it with a pinpoint fastball. It's 7-1, and we stretch.
Don't miss 2 all-new episodes of Backstage Dodgers on Friday.
Top of the Dodge order coming up here in the last of the 7. Go Orel and Alana. And Stefan Crichton coming into the game for the D-backs.
Games, 1-0 with a 3.56. Pretty good command with the 8 walks compared to the 33 strikeouts. Diamondbacks, they can improve in their pitching and in their bullpen. Got a chance. Remember, the dreaded Madison Bumgarner is going to be part of their rotation.
Opening day starter. They're going to open up against San Diego. That's another team that's going to be interesting, talented, fun to watch. There's Betts. And he bangs the first pitch that he sees down the line to left. Second hit of the night. Mookie Betts going after the first pitch here in the 7th and doubling.
Mentioned his hot zones earlier in the game against right-handed pitching. Anything in the middle of the plate, his lowest average is 333. I think it goes 333 at the bottom, somewhere in the 400s, right down the middle, and high down the first strike, 500. Well, that one was pretty much center cut, and he did the normal Betts with it.
Did what Mookie do. And now Terrence Gore comes into the game to pinch run. This is his specialty. And with the new rule where extra innings will begin with a man at second, what a weapon he could be, especially with the early expanded rosters. That's strike one on a pinch hitting Gavin Lux. Gavin arrived late to camp. He's termed it for personal reasons. A bit of a complicated swing that he owns and typically takes him longer than usual, longer than other guys before he's feeling right. No contact made there. So are they going to say now that it was a foul ball? No, it was just a swing and a miss. And so Gore moves up to third.
Breaking ball, swing, and a miss. The sound was a deflection off the glove.
Infield comes in for Arizona. And an 0-2 comes home from Crichton.
Good take from a young hitter that has a man in scoring position with no outs.
Still just 22 years of age. Made his big league debut last year. And went on to start 3 games in the division series. One of the leading candidates for Rookie of the Year. Gavin has said that he thinks he probably tried too hard in his major league debut, and the game sped up on him as a result. He wants to get back to that comfy feeling when he put up those numbers, which are not misprinted. 392 in AAA. He was a minor league player of the year. He's worked it full after falling behind 0-2. One of the things the Dodgers love about him is his makeup and his ability to bounce back from relative struggles. Happened to him early on in his pro career in A-ball. Down swinging here for the first out of the 7th.
Starts the swing like it's a fastball, ends up a breaking ball, tailoring under his bat.
Still Gore at third and 1 out. Our first look tonight at Chris Taylor. Entering his 5th year with the Dodgers, over from Seattle. Cracks one to right center field. That'll drop in to bring home Gore. And so Chris Taylor off of the bench. Singles on the first pitch that he sees to make it 8-1.
Battlefield number 35, Cody Bellinger.
He swung the bat really well during the intra-squad games. The looks that I've had. Using the right side of the diamond very well, but still has that pull power.
1-on-1 out Bellinger. Tails back in there, strike 1. Two for 3 with the first inning grand slam. Oh, 2.
High fastball, and he didn't miss it. Making some subtle adjustments to his swing here in the summer camp 2.0. The cheerleaders loved it.
Unanimous Rookie of the Year in 17. Regressed some in his second year. Remember, he was platoon late in that year and in the postseason before coming back and winning the MVP.
From the 2018 struggles in the World Series to adjusting to left-handed pitching and raising his average to 280 versus left-handers. That was a big impact on the MVP season.
from 226 the year before.
Mm-hmm.
He was the #1 hitter in the National League, lefty against lefty, when it comes to OPS last year. You know who else got platooned in the World Series as a young player?
Tell me.
Babe Ruth.
Okay.
One of his first World Series when he was still with the Red Sox. Didn't play against left-handed starters. That is a bullet through the box into center field. Bellinger's 3rd hit tonight.
He is unwinding on the baseball. Came into camp with some adjustments to his swing. You'd say, how in the world would you do that as an MVP season? But with all the time off and a little bit of tinkering, he made some adjustments. And now he's still adjusting as he gets around the Dodger hitting minds. And tonight he is seeing some great results.
There are some guys where he can be in practice and he can be in the cage, right, where it's like, that just doesn't look right now. And then you get into the games, you get into the real thing, the relative real thing, and the light just gets turned down. Here's Beatty pinch hitting. That, by the way, was a 106-mile-per-hour line drive off Bellinger's bat.
Remind me, 95 is hard hit?
Yeah, anything 95 and above considered hard hit.
I'm locked in.
I'm
ready.
Man, you've just
ready.
been studying the internet for the last 4 months, haven't you?
On other subjects.
Yeah, haven't we all? Grounded in front of the plate. Crichton will throw Beatty out.
Chris Taylor with a hit. Belly with another hit. Belly's got 3 hits tonight. Diamondbacks have 2.
Hitter number 11,
It's out hitting the opposing team.
Second and third with 2 gone for Pollock. And we talked earlier what AJ and his wife Kate and their daughter Maddie went through with Maddie being born prematurely. And so this summer, in that regard, when it comes to baseball, the first thing you think is, well, it had to be a tough decision on AJ to come back and play. And he said, yeah, at first he put a lot of thought into that. And is that the right thing as he flies this to left field? It was his wife Kate, who's a former athlete. She played lacrosse at Notre Dame. She said to him, look, you know you couldn't sit on the couch and watch them win the World Series. She encouraged him to go play. the Diamondbacks here in the first of two between the teams in this exhibition schedule. Dodgers will wrap up their quick exhibition season against the Angels. That is strike one from Victor Gonzalez to Carson Kelly. Here is the upcoming schedule. The Giants coming in to officially start things on Thursday. Kelly gets that one by Beatty and down the line to right, where Terrence Gore is checked in for Mookie Betts.
Number 22, Jake Lamb.
Jake Lamb, an all-star in 2017, and it seemed like he's turning himself into one of the great young players in the National League. Then a shoulder injury in 2018. Felt good coming into 2019, but 5 games into the season, injured his quad and missed most of the first half. Ouch. I mean, the guy can't catch a break.
Hand and bat, or again, little of both. We saw that with Austin Barnes, and it was all knuckles. This one sounds the same. It looks like he might have got the end of the bat and the hand.
Shortstop number 13, Nick Ahmed.
Got a lot of gear to take off to run the bases.
You can see why he needs it.
Yeah.
Bad things tend to find him. Had you taken a guess a few years ago which of these two Diamondbacks would be most likely to get a long-term extension, Jake Lamb or Nick Ahmed, who's up now, you probably would have guessed Lamb.
For sure.
But it was Ahmed that signed a long-term deal this winter. 4-year extension. Said, honestly, it wasn't an easy decision for him at first to engage in the talks because he wanted to see that Arizona was committed to winning now.
Really became a big leaguer because of one side of the baseball, the defensive side.
Which is spectacular.
And then he was, even though he was a weak hitter at the time, he was a Dodger killer. It seemed like that's the only team he was getting big hits against. And then he changed his theory on hitting and went from not just trying to hit the ball, but just letting the bat go, swinging hard. And that made the bat more accurate and, of course, more powerful. He's not feeling for the baseball anymore.
In an 0-2 hole here. Runners at first and second. Here comes Gonzalez. That's bounced back to him. Victor's got it. He goes to second one. Lux turns to first for a double play.
Gavin Lux, little fancy footwork out there, gets a little caught up with the spikes on. After the double play, players still in summer camp. Started to run off the field, but only 2 outs.
You can't blame him for being confused. Earlier, there was an inning that ended after the 0 without.
It was a pitch count turnover.
Here's Vogt with 2 gone. Strike one. Arias tomorrow.
I think so.
Wood throwing a sim game
prior to the game.
Another in 2. Muscled to right center field, and Vogt brings home Kelly. So it's 8-2. And here's Alana.
Guys, in case you missed it at the top of the hour, our fans at home, the rotation for these next 2 exhibition games are going to be Julio Urias and then Josiah Gray. And then, of course, it's lining up for Thursday to be Clayton Kershaw, the Dodgers ace, on the hill for that. And talking earlier about Walker Buehler and Dustin May, it looks like Dustin May is likely going to piggyback off of Walker Buehler in their first outing. It could be the first game in Houston. In fact, Dustin May is scheduled to throw about 5 innings on Wednesday when the team is actually off. And he could probably piggyback Walker Buehler coming out of the pen, guys.
Okay, great stuff, Alana. As Cahoon chases a slider for strike 1. Sign me up. Walker Buehler against the Houston Astros for a season debut. First road game of the season for the Dodgers will come a week from Tuesday. And then it lines up to be Kershaw against Verlander in game 2. Sign me up again.
It'll be the Dodgers' first brush with what life on the road is like. Arizona learning that right here. They open up against the Padres, so they've got the couple exhibition games here with the Dodgers, and then we'll move down to San Diego.
Oh, 2 pitch. Did he go? He did. Arizona gets one, but that's all. To the bottom of the 8th, 8-2.
Live action. And Kenley was in an inter-squad game, and now we'll be facing the Diamondbacks at the top of the 9th.
Joe Manaply comes on to pitch for Arizona. Bottom of the Dodger order, Jock Peterson to lead it off. 29-year-old from Virginia delivers the first one, and Peterson watches a strike.
Jock getting an opportunity to face a left-handed pitcher. Something that he and the movement coach had a goal of kind of achieving. Not only helping his athleticism, getting his body in a great position to function properly, quickly, and strongly, but also increasing his ability to not pull out and hit lefties.
Cracks a flare into shallow center field for a base hit.
Take it.
Yeah.
I'd like to save that bat, but it broke.
Get some staples and some tape and some glue.
Yeah.
How bad do you want to keep it?
Jock, I'd give you more opportunities, but you lost that bat. Sorry.
is aboard for Rios, who gets his first at-bat tonight. And slices the first pitch that he sees to left field. That'll sink in. Back-to-back hits to open the 8th. Peterson will go first to third. Love to see that kind of base run in a 8-2 game in the 8th inning of an exhibition.
It is the time to push the envelope so that you have decisions in season that you know are accurate. So how do you know if this is the right decision in season? Well, you push the envelope now. It's not that big a deal if you were out, but you do start to get your reads, your baseball clock and knowledge. Movement coaches happen to run faster too.
Movement first to third. Swift. Here's Gale. There's a strike. Torey Lovello coming out.
At Fix Auto, every collision repair center is open following all guidelines to keep you and your loved ones safe.
Diamondbacks have had 3 consecutive winning seasons for the first time since 99 to 03. Corresponding with Torey Lovello taking over. Former UCLA Bruin, just like Dave Roberts. Dave just went into the UCLA Sports Hall of Fame recently. Same induction class as Kevin Love and Russell Westbrook. Gale with a base hit to left. So the first 3 Dodgers have singled here in the 8th. Peterson in to score. It's 9-2.
Diamondbacks went into a defense right there with first and third, like the scoreboard was a tie game or a 1-run differential, not looking at the current scoreboard, but Torey wanted to get them working on some defense for an interesting situation during the season. They didn't have much time to work on it with that first pitch base hit.
I think they hit the warm first at-bat reception button on the crowd noise machine for Terrence Gore. It loved him. They fly ball fading into foul territory. Long run and a nice sliding catch. John Jay, the veteran, making the roster likely for Arizona. Making a nice play. Coming in from right.
They had to come a long way. A lot of times this is second baseman's ball, but they were kind of shifted over to the pull side. So John Jay had to cover all the ground for the Diamondbacks. Nice slide.
First and second with 1 gone, and up comes Gavin Lux. Struck out swinging his first time up.
Struck out on a breaking ball that he launched the bat thinking it was a fastball, but then it broke right underneath his bat, had him way out front.
Quickly 2 strikes on him. He said that, again, looking back to his taste of the big leagues last year in September and in the postseason, that he was too afraid to hit with 2 strikes. He didn't handle those situations well. He struck out in a third of his plate appearances in that major league debut, which is way above the numbers that he had put up throughout his minor league career. Swings his helmet right off of himself. You know what's interesting with that high strikeout rate is that he didn't chase hardly at all, but his contact on pitches in the zone was not good.
It's not where you make your money hitting with 2 strikes, but if you can keep your average around 200 as a 2-strike hitter, you're going to support your average.
Takes this one, ball one. He said, Dave Roberts said, when you look at those numbers, that there are a lot of strikeouts, even though you're not chasing, that they're coming as a result of missing pitches in the zone. It's probably a product of overthinking, kind of tying yourself up.
Dave Roberts really bearing down on Gavin Lux there. He is just staring at everything he's doing, even in between pitches.
2-2. Not falling behind 0-2. He's worked it full. Swings and misses and deposits the bat down in the Arizona dugout.
Shortstop number 3, Chris Taylor.
Usually you say that bat's going to need a little bit more stickum for the next at bat, but also will need to be sanitized.
Yeah. And those two things probably don't do the same thing, right? Sanitizing.
The alcohol content's going to break down the pine tar on the bat and probably actually make it stickier.
Huh. Scientist Oral. Dr. Oral.
Well, when I had that non-foreign substance on part of my body, I always used alcohol to get it off.
Did you? Rubbing alcohol.
Yeah, rubbing alcohol.
Yeah. Taylor with 2 out.
Domestic pine tar.
And domestic rubbing alcohol?
Yes. I never really checked where that was made.
Not old world. How about pitchers being allowed to carry a wet rag in their pockets?
Yeah, that's interesting.
Instead of the rosin bag.
Their own rosin bag on the back. And
or instead of, I guess, licking their fingertips.
Right. Can't go to your mouth.
Good stop there by the Arizona catcher, John Hicks. Would you have taken advantage of the wet rag?
I already carried one. I put a cup of water over my head, and my hat was always very wet, so I get moisture from my hat or my hair. And then I also would wear cotton underwear down to about my knees, and I would wet the cotton underwear, and so I could get moisture from my body. So I probably would not have had the rag. I wouldn't have liked the weight of it, in my back pocket. So I don't understand, like Chris Taylor, he's got his running garb in his back pocket at the plate. I don't know what it is. It might be his hand guard for sliding. I could just see pitching with that in my back pocket now.
Punches a liner to right to Jay to end the inning. It's funny. I'm just thinking most of us try to avoid wetting our cotton underwear, but you did it on purpose.
Okay. And looking to get some of that same action on his cutter, the same line with his body directly to home plate, leveraging the baseball and mixing in possibly a few more two-seamers and sliders this year.
Evolving as he gets into the later stages of his career. Kenley's entire household battled COVID a few weeks back. First, it was his son, Caden, who